I have another piece for you here, and I'm just going to read it, and you'll get the title as I go through this piece. The pimp, the preacher, and the politician. These three men have the same mission, and that is to manipulate minds over time, and not open the eyes of the blind, but to make sure that they never open, but they stay shut, because they don't want the people to know what's up. See, these three men, the pimp, the preacher, and the politician, use words as weapons instead of tools. And they turn men into fools because they get schooled and indoctrinated, brainwashed, like a car going for a wash. See, these three men, the pimp, the preacher, and the politician, greatest task is to maintain the mass of protection and provision. But the mass, under the mass, is a face of deviation and division, which leads to destruction of the masses, from the upper to the lower classes. See, these three men, the pimp, the preacher, and the politician, paint a portrait that presents themselves as heroes, but they're less than zeros. They're negatives, because they're parasites of the people of the nations, and they claim to make better situations. But they get worse as they continue to rehearse their lies. But there are no outcries from the people as they meet their demise. But I feel no sorrow for the people because they love lies. But they hate the truth, and it starts from their youth to the old, and few take heed to the bold voices of the prophets. See, the prophets don't always get guidance through dreams and visions, but rightly dividing the word of God can truth be understood, and changes and passions and actions be direct the steps of a righteous man. See, a prophet's words have salvation to some, but damnation and death to most. See, the heavenly hosts, the angels will carry some to eternal rest, but others to eternal distress. The words of a prophet are not always smooth and soothing, but sometimes filled with sorrow and sadness about tomorrow. See, the prophet stirs up, shakes up, and disturbs the minds of men, and he points out sin. A prophet is a truth teller, a troublemaker, and a risk taker, rolled up in one. The life of a prophet is a lonely one. He has more enemies than friends, and often his greatest foes are inside his home. Comfort, confidence, and camaraderie are rare commodities in the care of a prophet. See, the pimp has a company of his hoes and their tricks. And see, the preacher has the comfort of the congregation sticks to his side even though he tells lies. And the politicians have the confidence of their constituents as they vote, and he gives them false hopes and sells them legal dope to control their hearts and minds. See, the prophet speaks only for God and for God's glory. And he only has one story, one message, one mission. And his methods seem like madness in the midst of men, and he gives lessons that lead those in this wicked world into the kingdom of his dear Son. Thank you. The pimp, the preacher, and the politician.